What's going on, guys? This is Tyler with Division One Trading coming at you with another video on IPDA. So today I just wanted to, show the IPDA data range here. This is for US 30. Now I want to show how you can use order blocks for IPDA. So you can see we made that new 20, 40, and 60-day low. Again, if you haven't seen how to draw IPDA, go to one of my previous videos on IPDA data ranges. So I want you to see how the low down here on the 4-hour, we have our order block. And if you're familiar with order blocks, you know that we would connect not just this one, but we would connect this piece as well. So this entire price here would be the order block. Now, this is on a 4-hour chart. So on the daily, this would be our order block here. I want you to pay attention to that. But we also have our rejection block, which is the bodies or that zone. And what we're going to do is we're going to run all these levels down, and I want you, or really take them down as far as top-down analysis, and I want you to see what the setups look like. So right here, that rejection block down there, I'm going to leave as a dotted line. So you can see it trades into it multiple times. Now, as we start chopping it down, see now we go into the hourly, you can see the 4-hour order block formed here. Our rejection block was right here. Now, I want to leave the order block in there, and you'll see why. So I'm going to add the high of this order block, which is top of the yellow box. Let me make it just a little bit more visible. Now, this is going to be important on the lower time frame. So we drop it back down. You can see this 4-hour order block trades away from it, comes back into it a couple times, and then right here, it runs that high, goes all the way down, takes the low, and look at those bodies at the rejection block. Now remember, this is the top of the order block. So what I want to show you about this setup, I want to show you how it reaches down into the rejection block and it builds its own setup there. So now we have a high, a low, and then a higher high, which makes that a breaker. So we trade back into the breaker with the order block and a fair value gap right there. Now that's the trade that we're looking for. So as it trades through, we might even get stopped out maybe here in an order block, and then we'd have to re-enter with our stop back at that low. But I want you to notice this point right here. When it comes back and it again breaks structure and then taps right there into that order block. That's how price is generally going to move. And that's why the closer we get to IPDA with these levels, the closer our setups are going to line up with really solid trades like that. So you could see coming off the low, we have that first pivot line right there. Now, this is our order block, and if that holds and then it breaks structure, we can now look for our propulsion block. So we'll look at 50% of this order block. So right here, we measured it. We'd measure it from the high to the low of that propulsion block we drew. You can see it traded back into it a little bit. One thing to note, this is that order block. Rewind it if you want to go look at it again. You see how it trades up one standard deviation and then pulls back into the order block. This is now the propulsion block. All this is protected because it's now a balanced price range, and all they do is fill in this gap and then continue higher, clearing that high of the week and looking for higher prices. Now, the reason that I put emphasis on this setup was not just because it was a low, right? We could have used any of these, but because now this is a 20, 40, and 60-day low, meaning IPDA has just entered offset distribution, and now it's turned, it's most likely in its accumulation phase. So once we can recognize that, we know that price has a pretty good opportunity of turning around. You can see right here, we left that open gap. We had a little slingshot up into that gap, and then we failed to get the whiplash, meaning that when it traded up into the gap, it gave a short little whiplash trade right here where it slowly filled the gap and started selling off, but then it ended up right here slingshotting above that high of the day. Just a quick little recap on some of today's trading on IPDA and on order blocks, breakers, and value gaps. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Peace, y'all.